What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I made a massive fucking mistake. I'm gonna have to react to this video. So, I'm reacting to Dr. Skipper's Starfield is outdated and overrated. I understand it came out back in October of 2023, I believe is what the description says. Yeah, October of 2023. And I haven't uploaded in a while. As I told somebody before, I am pretty much dealing with personal stuff that's keeping me busy that I actually have to do. It's related to my jail experience, which, you know, you got to own up to your mistakes, and one of that is community service if you want to know. I'm not asking for sympathy, okay? Anywho. So I was stupid and actually fucking thought, okay, well, I'm just going to react to the video and leave the desktop audio unchecked. So it's enabled, so you guys should be able to hear his fucking video. So far, what I got from this video, though, I'm gonna be honest, it's not a good video. A lot of games and a lot of bad faith arguments, bringing up games that have nothing to do with the topic of the video, just to point the finger at Bethesda to say, look, there was even a statement he said in the video where he was like, oh, well, Bethesda's getting outshunned by these other companies. They're getting, you know, they're staying back. These other companies are leveling up and going past them. He didn't say it like exactly like that, but that was pretty much what he said. And my response to that is pretty much, who fucking cares? Each game dev does their own damn thing. And that's true. And I don't know how much truer it could get. But anywho, this is Dr. Skipper's. Starfield is outdated and overrated, so let's get started.
Mentioning Starfield to a person is like flipping a coin.
Okay,
Either you get a passionate rant about how the game cured their illness and made them find God, or you get a passionate rant about how it killed their entire family and burned down their village.
We are going to go through this.
So you can current dayers, pronouns, current day.
And the California guy. Oh. And what I said in the fuck up take I was doing, I said this is ridiculous, the whole pronouns thing. It's a role-playing game, and in a way it kind of satirizes it. You got to really think, though. You could play as a heterosexual transgender person and also play as a character who gets misgendered throughout the entire playthrough. Like, it wasn't really shoving that down your throat. In a way, it makes fun of it, but whatever.
Hey, California, we're boring!
I see this as beautiful personally, that some are so passionate to love or hate a video game, while everyone else on the outside looking in are just wondering, what the hell caused everyone to get this passionate in the first place? That's why. The last time a Bethesda game came out was 8 years ago.
Yep.
The last time a Bethesda game came out that wasn't a buggy mess was 8 years ago. I give up. Fallout 4 came out 8 years ago. A lot of people skip 76 because Rick and Morty were enough to convince people to buy this dumpster fire.
Ninja maybe has some finally representation.
Then in 2018, the first new Bethesda IP in the last 20 years was announced. Said to be Todd Howard's baby and magnum opus. It was trademarked in 2013 and then entered development in 2016, but had been a concept in the dome of Todd for about 25 years.
I was writing games when I was, 12, whatever. The other kids in the block would say, I'm going to play quarterback for the Cowboys. And I'd be like, I'm going to make video games and everyone's going to play them. You dork. Go back to the chess club. Who's laughing now?
The game was going to release in 2022, but then got delayed a whole year so that they could squash and exterminate all the little bugs that got caught in the webs. And now after all this time, the game is out for you to play. Starfield, a Bethesda RPG in space. It's extremely overrated and really outdated and not that good.
Of course.
When an NBA player needs a hit.
So far from what I got from this video, it's just him jumping on the hate train.
Buzzer beater to win the game.
Pretty
That's when
much.
becomes most crucial. Can you keep under pressure when the lights are shining brightest? Look, I'm not Luka Doncic. None of you can compare to greatness like that, but I am Dr. Skipper. And something I live for is when everyone is diluted and I feel like a crazy person. Every single one of these videos was made during honeymoon phases, and taking a stance during a honeymoon phase is the most dangerous. You want to know something I hate in this world? Glazing.
Can I talk my shit again?
I can't stand it. Meat writing, glizzy gobbling, call it whatever you want. Can't stand it. You know what else I hate? Obnoxious opportunist. If you think a balding man-child screaming about roleplay options in a roleplay game is a prime example of a professional hater, then wait till you get a load of me. Because someday I'm gonna meet God, and when he asks why you didn't talk about Starfield in 2023, and I answer it's because I don't want to piss people off, it may not be a sufficient reply. Starfield is a game with a lot to talk about. It's not black and white despite whatever you might think.
Officer Vasquez, control your lady friend. This bridge is no place for a woman.
Yes, Commander.
Excuse me? I demand you are in a position to demand nothing, kitchen wench.
But you don't get a say in this video, so shut up. There's layers to peel back and analyze what this game achieves, while also discussing what it doesn't achieve and could do better. And while Starfield is an immersive game to some, it's also a restricted Disneyland ride that doesn't let you roleplay and experience its galaxy to the full potential.
To its full potential. Okay. There's a few things with that. First off, when people say this, they want the game to react to everything they do. They want to be able to kill people, quest-related characters, which is fine. you know, I don't know why they... Even there were some characters in Starfield, I will say, that I don't even know why they were essential, that wouldn't have done anything for the story. And I get it. You know, also at the same time, in all fairness, they want players to experience the game the way they intended. And, you know, it is their game. It's their art. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and argue that. Besides, come on, Bethesda, please make your NPCs a bit killable. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say they made NPCs more essential in Starfield, because there's quite a handful you could kill, and you could roleplay as a serial killer if you want to. For that particular roleplay to happen. But there are some essential NPCs, like the fucking... What was it? Oh, God, I forget the name. Paradiso quest, where you have to deal with the ship, the giant-ass ship floating, you know, in their orbit, and the, you know, people on the ship want to inhabit the planet, but Paradiso was already claimed. Interesting quest, but one of the issues that I've heard, and I actually do agree with, is you can't kill the board members in that quest, so... There's actually a mod that fixes that, but, I mean, mods aside, I don't know why they weren't killable. I don't know, maybe because Bethesda's like, oh, how are we going to add a huge consequence to this? Whatever. I don't know.
Central of what it advertised, while also being plagued by Bethesda's outdated
And by the way, it wasn't falsely advertised, man. Some things probably were embellished a little bit, but not to the extent of Cyberpunk.
game designer. And these problems aren't a jump scare in the slightest. The problems of Starfield have been cruising for a bruising from those tunnel snakes for a minute. And that kettle has been boiling since 2008. But it's 2023 now, and Bethesda has a blood trail of mistakes and messes that haven't all of a sudden disappeared because we're in space now. But I'm him, so grab a snack, get a blanket and a soda, and tag along as we go down this rabbit hole. And while we're at it, you're gonna subscribe.
Also, I did point out, in the first take of this, I noticed that his fucking thumbnail is similar to Nakey Jakey's. Just saying. I think it's a parody version, but I want to know what you guys think. If maybe he watched his video and was like, oh, Nakey Jakey made a video, my turn.
And you're gonna f***ing like it. Ooh, sorry.
Definitely not subbing, by the way.
Gotta get through that intro, my good friend. Starfield is a great display of Bethesda magic. The last time Bethesda received proper flowers was for Skyrim, which even at the time had a lot of regression from Morrowind and Oblivion. But Skyrim was the first game to fully nail down Bethesda magic. And before Skyrim, you had Fallout 3, which was the beginning of Bethesda magic.
I don't understand that whole argument. Oh, this game did. The previous games did better. They fucking changed. And maybe your imagination just sucks.
And between those two, you had Obsidian's Fallout New
You
Vegas,
can't
which
restrict
showed
yourself. Like, I've been saying this for a while. Like, I mean, if you can't restrict yourself in a game that allows you to do whatever you want, and it's a role-playing game, then you're not really good at role-playing. I'm just gonna, leave that out there.
that smoke and mirrors of
Just
Bethesda magic
saying.
actually become a reality if you put in the effort. But when you look at Bethesda's recent catalog, you notice a bad trend that runs through them. Every Bethesda game is outdated, outshined, and doesn't do anything innovative. But what they are successful at is Bethesda magic. I know you're getting tired of me saying this word over and over again.
Outdated, outshined. Even though no other studio could do what they do. Even though they try. But, again, as I said, they all do different things. It's pretty stupid to even say that to begin with, but okay, I mean, that same shit could be applied to all the games, like Call of Duty. It's been doing the same thing, but people still are playing it. For a long time. It's just a business module. It's kind of dumb. I mean, dude, you could make this argument to a restaurant. Oh, I'm gonna go to a steakhouse, but I'm gonna bitch about the fact they're not changing or innovating. They're still serving steak. Or going to McDonald's, I want a Big Mac. And complaining that they're still making Big Macs. And they're not changing or innovating or adapting. That's their business. That's what people like about the business. See what I'm saying? Already a dumb take. in 4 minutes in.
Explain what the hell it is. I'm sorry, let me explain what Bethesda Magic is. Bethesda Magic is a theme park ride. Ironically, Bethesda's making an Indiana Jones game, so let's use the Indiana Jones ride from Disneyland, for example. To ride Indiana Jones,
Fucking quiz!
to ride the Indiana Jones attraction, the first thing you gotta do is wait in line. But the line is made to immerse you in the setting of this ride so that you forget that you're just in a queue for the main attraction. And when you get on the ride, you're full of joy and excitement as you tag along Indiana Jones to escape an adventure of fun and scary thrills. They're shooting blow darts, a giant boulder comes in, Harrison Ford is there for realsies. I swear to God, that's actually him. And after the ride is over, a kid's gonna be ecstatic, thinking that everything just happened was real, and now feels like a part of the story. And the adult who knows it's all fake had to be whipped and enslaved to afford these goddamn tickets. It's just happy that they got to have some fun while being immersed in fantasy before returning to a life of cold buds on the weekend.
I could get that, but okay.
And beating their life. This is why people enjoy Bethesda games. Starfield, Fallout, Skyrim. Without game design, what are they to their core? Space, apocalypse, and fantasy. 3 settings, 3 RPGs, pick your poison. Bethesda games are extremely successful because no one makes a Bethesda game like Bethesda. They're the only game studios that have really cool settings that allow you some control while also...
That's the point. No game studio could do what another does. They find magic in their own games, then there's no way in hell a game studio is going to replicate that same thing, even if they try, and it'd be really cringe if they did.
They make me feel like an important piece in a big world with easy to control gameplay. None of them have groundbreaking combat, roleplay, graphics, or even exploration, but what they do have is groundbreaking manipulation. Just like my ex-wife Rebecca, that stupid bitch. Fallout 4 in 2015...
Groundbreaking manipulation. Yeah, 90% of RPGs have that. Just saying. Like, people demand way too much out of Bethesda.
Progress massively from New Vegas. Focus on being a shooter more than an RPG. It also released the same year as the...
Yeah, because you didn't bother to roleplay. Just saying. I am so sick of that argument, as you guys know. I've talked about this argument so many fucking times. You just didn't roleplay. You didn't. To say it's not an RPG and to not give or to fill in the gaps in the beginning for your character, come on, your imagination sucks.
The Witcher 3, which exposed the game's problems massively, showing that Fallout 4 was already outdated when it launched.
Yeah, okay, and this is, I did respond to this in the first take, I'm going to respond to it again. You really are going to say that The Witcher 3 exposed Fallout 4's problems? No, going by this logic, you're pretty much saying Fallout 4 exposes The Witcher 3 because you can't even edit Geralt, you can't change his appearance, you're just Geralt. You don't know what the fuck your character was before they got into their occupations and before they met their spouse and had a child. Okay, bro. Like, if you want to sit here and say that The Witcher 3 did better, which he doesn't explain what it did better, by the way. He just said it did. It's very hypocritical.
In 2015. It was a bad RPG. The gunplay was mid.
I mean, again, going by their logic. It was a bad RPG. Because you couldn't roleplay, that's why. Because you sucked at it.
The graphics were nothing special. You gotta remember, Battlefront 2015 came out the same year for comparison. Like, look at Boba Fett in
Why the comparison? Why the fucking comparison? What's this have to do with Fallout 4? What the fuck? This is not an RPG, this is a fucking Battlefield... but Star Wars. If anything. Even saying that is stupid. Whatever, man. This doesn't make sense. These are two different studios, bro.
In the snow. That's a man right there. The game was also a buggy mess, pushing Bethesda's old...
I wouldn't say that was a man. That game was heavily criticized, and rightfully so.
...ass engine to the limits.
And again, the engine argument, of course. Because, you know, they can't have an argument... because they want to look smart, so they'll bring up the engine like they know what the fuck they're talking about, but they don't. They update their engine. If you don't like it, then don't play their games. It's simple.
And even with all those faults, people were still in love with the Bethesda magic. New Vegas and Fallout 3 are ugly to look at.
Yeah, because that's just how games are. You know, most games have issues that people overlook. They have that magic. Not Bethesda magic, though. Their own magic. Which is a blessing. Actually, it goes to show you that people, us humans, can overlook things in entertainment that are problems or flaws, plot holes, whatever. And if it was good enough for you, then you're going to fucking enjoy it. Welcome to real life, bitch.
Very fun to play. Fallout 3 released a year after Halo 3, and Fallout New Vegas came out the same year as Red Dead Redemption and Halo Reach.
Okay, what's this have to do with anything?
And while I know New Vegas is an Obsidian game, it's Bethesda's assets and engine. My point is that...
And the title is Starfield is outdated and overrated. What the fuck does this
Bethesda games have always had this problem. People today still play New Vegas because it offers a lot more than Fallout 3 in substance, but with Fallout 4 and all of its problems, a lot of people turned their brains off and shot their shots in possible...
Yep, and oh my god. Well, a lot of people turned their brains off when playing Fallout 4, then they must have died a lot. I hate it when people say that. Well, you play the game. Bethesda's games are, a game, or Fallout 4 or whatever Bethesda game is a game where you play to turn your brain off and you just wander around like a fucking idiot and expect, the game to just bend to your will. It's pretty much what they're implying, is that the game just does it. And no, stop playing on easy. And not just easy. Very easy. Seriously, dude.
Austin like a fucking Larry Bird. You are not really forced to care about anything else if you don't want to. You are the lone wanderer in the apocalypse.
Do you say you are not forced to care about anything? Okay.
And you want to rescue your son, while also carrying the Celtics to a championship.
Well, it depends on what you roleplay as, but according to you, you can even do that, so I don't really trust your judgment.
Buds in the weekend. Also, this plot was done better in Finding Nemo. Hell, it even looks better in Finding Nemo, but you get...
Okay. What does a movie's plot have to do with a game? That's by Disney. That's subjective. Okay, well, that's his opinion. It's alright. He doesn't like it.
The main reason why Fallout 76 failed is because it didn't have Bethesda magic. If the game was full of NPCs and pre-made decisions with the basic campaign, people would have loved that Indiana.
Pre-made decisions? Are you stupid, dude? Like, that is the dumbest thing ever. What about the 4 factions? Or some of the quest outcomes? Like, pretty much allowing a child to die. Probably the edgiest quest in any Fallout game to date, where you pretty much metaphorically kill a child. Austin from Vault 81? Anybody? Bro, are you fucking kidding me? Come on.
Jones ride.
He's a Sith. He'll kill us all. Kyle, no!
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains. This game fucking sucked. Well, you had no choice or roleplay like you would in Fallout 1, 2, or New Vegas. But you also had no Bethesda magic either. All you had was Fallout 4's game design, which is an outdated mess that didn't really...
No roleplay. No roleplay. You had no choice. He did say that. I actually didn't catch that the first time. Yeah, homie, you can roleplay, and as I said, and I'm going to keep saying it every time you bring it up, you fucking suck at it. You're not as good as of a role player as you think. You want the game to hold your hand and tell you can't do this. You specialized in this. Fuck off. Seriously. You can be and do whatever the fuck you want in Fallout 4. And again, I don't know what this has to do with the title of the video. He's like critiquing Fallout 4, Starfield, and all these other games all at once.
Really succeed at doing anything
It's
besides
a
providing a cool
mess.
setting, but take that magic out the setting, and the game is dead. Nobody's gonna shoot
You'll
dead clock.
see as the video goes on.
And go for hours to find some happiness in their life, unless they have brain damage. That's a whole nother story. Also, I lied earlier.
Some people do like doing that. And again, it's role-playing, which you don't understand and probably couldn't do.
This is not the only one who makes Bethesda games, and it's not Obsidian. They made an Obsidian game unlike the others. Another really good Bethesda game is Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh my god, yeah. The game that took like 3 years to fucking fix. Get out of here, bro.
By CD Projekt Red.
That literally, I don't know if... Okay, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if they lied. I've heard they lied. According to ChatGPT, when I've had discussions, which, by the way, guys should play with ChatGPT. It's a lot of fun when you have game discussions. Anywho, it swears up and down. I don't know if this is true, and I'm not taking ChatGPT's word for this, but it swears up and down that CD Projekt Red lied. And then, if that is true, let's say it is, going by their logic, and by the logic from, Cyberpunk being this shit game that came out years ago, or actually 5 years ago now. Wow. Anywho, it took them 3 years to fix the damn game. You do realize that, right? How stupid that looks? You pointing out Cyberpunk, saying it has the same Bethesda magic, and I guess he's saying because it was buggy. But no, he doesn't actually, because he later says that for some reason Starfield was plagued with the same issues. From my own experience, I don't recall having that bad of issues, because with the first instance I played Cyberpunk on the Series X, around the same time I was playing Starfield, motherfucking game, first quest after the prologue, infinite save. I don't know if anybody's had that issue, but it kept saying it was saving. Nothing changed, nothing happened. It didn't go away until I had to reboot the game. I just said fuck this game, and I played Starfield or Outer Worlds. Damn, almost forgot that game.
Cyberpunk is something I was so excited to talk about in this video. I'm like a kid on Christmas, because Cyberpunk is the best example of Bethesda magic that's not from Bethesda Bethesda. And it's also a great reason why you shouldn't trust shit from anyone who glazes this fucking game. Fallout 4, Cyberpunk 2077, and
Who glazes Starfield?
Starfield are all steps down from games like Oblivion, New Vegas, and many more RPGs as well.
Yeah, because these aren't the same games, and every RPG so far tries to innovate in some way and shows that you can make an RPG with doing these things. Glazes, like, I don't understand. So people can't like Starfield? You don't trust them? Bro, the game was overhated, bro. Are you kidding me? If anything, that made these types of videos even more untrustworthy. The hate did more damage to YouTubers than you may think. I guarantee you the next time this happens to another game, whether that be Bethesda or Rockstar, because I can see GTA 6 possibly getting the same amount of heat, even though the game probably is going to come out good or whatever. Not really a massive GTA fan, but that'd suck, and it would probably expose the fact that these YouTubers are just capitalizing on other people's products just to make money. Just saying, that's the brutal truth of these videos, honestly. Even this, you know.
As well as open world
But I'm
games.
not making money, though, so I can say that.
But Cyberpunk 2077 has received more backlash than both Fallout 4 at its release and Starfield as of now. Which makes you question, what would the noise be around Starfield if it launched as a buggy mess that ran like shit? Because Starfield has some of the exact same problems as Cyberpunk, but since it's at least
Really. Name a few. Because so far, from what I remember during the first take, he didn't name a damn thing that Starfield had that Cyberpunk had.
playable, the Bethesda magic can take over skepticism. Where for Cyberpunk, you didn't get that Bethesda magic until years later. When it was playable and
Yeah,
everyone...
and also, you're going to give it a free pass. That's pretty pathetic, going by your logic. And by the logic of, you know, the YouTubes, the U-boobs.
Gave it a second chance after its popular anime. And recently, people loved its new expansion.
Don't forget, the game is fixed.
Cyberpunk 2077 had so much hype because people expected it to have the RPG freedom of New Vegas and the city scale of GTA 5 and the main story and open world polish of Red Dead Redemption 2
You're a good man, Dr. Morgan. Good man.
and the looting gun variation of Borderlands 2. It was also announced 7 years before its release date, had a bunch of
Yep.
delays to clean the game up. It was also just a really cool
Yeah,
game.
and that's not good. That's pretty bad. And so far, Bethesda hasn't had to do that for any of their single-player games. And how long did it take them to add the mini-maps for Starfield? Not even a year. How long did it take them to... like, this video is really badly dated, and I'm trying to watch it like, you know, Starfield just came out, but... I mean, you're literally... This video is just really poorly timed. I mean, it took Bethesda under a year to add the things people bitched about when the game came out. Like the rover, the mini-map markers for, you know, stores in the city, the main cities. Took them under a year, man. And I get it, you know, this was before that. That's, I mean, compared to Cyberpunk, that's actually God tier. Just saying, but let's go back
Premise.
in time.
My man. Looking at my bitch,
Either way, though, it took them 3 fucking years to fix this game. That's not good.
she give your ass a bone.
I don't know why you're saying this game did better when so far Bethesda, you know, fixed this shit and added things people wanted within under a year.
Launch, besides being unplayable, it was just Fallout 4. Cyberpunk
It's really poorly. This is an aged video, man. This aged worse than milk. It aged like semen drying on a carpet.
2077 is fun to play. It's a cyberpunk theme park ride. You can choose life paths that don't really affect the game. You can shoot people from different factions that don't really get fleshed out, and there's also no consequence. You can do a bunch of interesting side missions that teach you about its world while not having any impact on it. You can do a bunch of side characters that you don't really have an impact on either, but
care.
enjoy. You can gun
Dude,
through
see, this is what I mean. He's bringing up these games. He's even somewhat reviewing them in one video. Do separate videos. Because now you're taking what you could have done to make a video on Cyberpunk, which you said you wanted to do. You wanted to talk about it. And you're just throwing it into this video. It's just conjecture.
the main story, where the only impact you have is getting some side characters killed by forced progressive decisions, and
I
that's
don't
Cyberpunk
give a
2077. A lot of the
shit.
game's problems also apply to Starfield, but Starfield is not equal to
How? Where's the example?
Cyberpunk. Starfield is a lot of things worse than Cyberpunk. Also, Cyberpunk is 3
How? What does Starfield do that's worse than Cyberpunk? When Cyberpunk came out, where's the fucking examples?
years older than Starfield, and Starfield came out 8 years after Fallout 4.
And
Bethesda
you're not going to explain it. You're just moving the goalpost. So you're just going to drop or say things that you can't substantiate. Damn, brother.
is not an indie company. They are a AAA game studio that is constantly getting outclassed by everyone around them. Hell, they still can't even
That's what I was saying. He did say, well, Bethesda's getting outclassed by everyone. Well, fuck off. No, that's not how the gaming development world works. All those games are doing different things. And I don't know, dude. Like, going by your logic, The Witcher 3 was not a good example to throw in there.
live up to their B team that they fucked over in 2000.
And if you do think The Witcher 3 is an RPG, you're fine. I'm going by their logic, showing them how stupid this shit is. And then, of course, you know, the bonus with Obsidian, of course, and that these idiots don't seem to understand is that Obsidian gets themselves into these situations. Not only that, they openly took the deal. You do know this. They know what they were getting into. And you're gonna say Bethesda fucked them over? Really? They got into this deal with the KOTOR 2 and a few other games, apparently. So I don't understand. What the fuck is this? You could look it up. I think Path of Exiles was one of them. As a matter of fact, yeah, I don't know. Oops. I'm not going to do that. You guys could do that for yourselves, but I know for a fact I did the research. They made a few other games. Came out pretty bad. And, like, KOTOR 2, I think, honestly, really makes Obsidian look bad. Like, they made a game where 90% of the content is only unlocked through the PC version of the game, and you can't even be evil in a supposed RPG, but do go on. I mean, you can continue the narrative, and I know he's not the only one. I'm not saying Dr. Skipper, I think his name is the only one saying that, you know, Obsidian or Bethesda fucked over Obsidian, and oh god, they're evil, Bethesda is. But no, Obsidian took the deal, and they usually do this, and they have piss poor management. And they bit off more they could chew. Honestly, with New Vegas, like they were thinking way outside the box, dude. They had limits to work with, but they decided to think outside of that for whatever reason.
10 after making them look like fucking fools. A game not being buggy at launch should not be the standard. It's not an accomplishment.
Sure,
and running at 30
it is an accomplishment, because what game isn't buggy when it comes out? That's incredible, actually. But again, I'm not saying Starfield, you know, was incredible and they achieved that. I've heard arguments from both sides that it was buggy and then it wasn't. It's just how open world games are, unfortunately. Hopefully in the future they'll pan that out, but yeah.
FPS on modern consoles shouldn't be applied either, nor should telling people to get better PCs.
I actually don't mind 30 FPS. I had no problem with it. It was pretty consistent on my end. Besides dips in the major cities, especially Aquila. For whatever reason, when you're entering Aquila, it just dips into the low 20s, but it's not a big deal to me.
Because Todd can't optimize a game at launch to save his life.
We really do push the technology, so you may need to upgrade your PC for this game.
Joseph Anderson made a statement.
Yeah, and that's true, but, you know, and I've also heard that the PC version, pardon me, was, ran terribly. But based on all the fucking hate I've been seeing about the goddamn game, I am honestly going to say this. I don't know what to believe. I don't know if Todd was right. Because honestly, this is what happens when things get overhated. Like, you don't know what's true, you don't know what's not. Especially from studios who've, you know, made games that people do like. In this case, it's Bethesda.
One's about Skyrim, and this is how I feel about Starfield. It's like a very shallow but very wide puddle. It may be very basic fun to splash around in it, but there's still so much to play with it. I didn't hate Starfield when I played it.
No, the puddle, yeah, that's right. Of course. Wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle. Just like this video. It's actually... This video is even less deep than a puddle. More like a little splash of water on the counter, you know. When you put your cup down, like a little drop. Your video's as deep as a fucking drop of water.
I actually had a lot of fun with Starfield. I'm not Eeyore, the Grinch, or Garfield, okay? Bethesda Magic
You're
works
all three of them.
On me. In 2015, I was in 8th grade and I got Fallout 4 for Christmas and fell in love with post-apocalyptic Boston. And now as an adult, that Bethesda magic has once again done miracles on me. I sat in the custom creator and made a bunch of funny guys before I settled on Drizzy himself.
You don't actually pay anything yet.
No, I'm just trying to make Drake.
Not gonna happen, little bro.
Dude, your video's not...
That is a really poorly aged joke. Especially with the Kendrick Lamar song. Yikes.
Like, I'm not gonna spend the entire time fucking character creator. You're never gonna play the game.
I don't know when that song came out. I think it came out last year.
Embarrassing.
I flew my little spaceship and got
Yeah,
to
it's even more embarrassing. You made a fucking character of a dude who allegedly likes minors.
dogfights. I found the Batcave and explored a bunch of planets. I learned about the world and its politics. I killed monsters and pirates and aliens. I got hooked. War never changes. My friend Typo made this really good analogy. He said that playing Starfield is like being Andy from Toy Story, in both good ways and bad ways.
You have cancer, Andy.
I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor.
You roleplay in your head when you can't in game sometimes. In Cyberpunk, I always felt like a cool bounty hunter, doing contracts and getting paid. But in Starfield, I actually get to be Boba Fett. I got a sick-ass spaceship and a space babe, and I kill people with that spaceship. And I'm also bald, and I get beat up by sand natives with sticks. My life was just like the ending of Chicken Little. Starfield has the basics of what space games won't let you do, like Outer Worlds, Warframe, Outer Wilds, No Man's Sky, and many others. Your ship has a purpose. You will get in dogfights and do hyperjumps. You're gonna board enemy ships and clear out pirates. You could be a moral gunslinger or a thief. It's a great first-time experience if you allow it to be, and you're gonna have fun with its general concepts. But when I finished the game, I started talking to friends, and the things I thought were unique to me were no longer unique. And then I thought about other games.
So your friends convinced you that you shouldn't like the game. Is that... It sounds like that's what he's saying. That's, you just let yourself get manipulated, my friend. That's literally manipulation if they convinced you to not like a game. That's actually pretty bad.
And the Mysterio illusion
If that is what happened. I don't know. The way he made it sounded like, oh, well, I talked to my friends, and then now all of a sudden all the things I liked about Starfield, I don't like it anymore. Yeah, because they probably bullied you, and you allowed it to happen.
and fade. You see, after riding something like the cars ride at Disneyland,
So what college do you girls go to? Oh, you're in high school? Could have fooled me.
we're gonna keep using Disneyland, by the way, since they got fun-themed rides. But after you ride the cars ride, a question will pop into your head after. Do I want to do that again? The ride was fun for the 3 minutes it lasted, but to get those 3 minutes, you had to wait in line without sitting down for an hour in the beaming California sun.
Don't give a shit. What does this have to do with anything?
But for the first time, you had that delusion of experiencing something new. So you were okay with doing all the annoying stuff
Nah,
because
yeah, I get what he's saying.
it was a new experience.
Yeah, you gotta wait, and, you gotta immerse yourself, and then when you get done immersing yourself, you're like, was that really worth it? Should have thought about that before getting on the fucking ride. Or even buying or playing Starfield. Life's full of choices. And so far, you don't seem to think yours out.
Starfield was extremely fun because it was new. I haven't played a Bethesda game in forever. I also love space. I love shooting stuff. The graphics were pretty. I get to be Space Batman. I also did a bunch of missions that were fun. But now that Mysterio illusion is gone, a lot of stuff in this game pisses me off. Starfield is a technical marvel that pushed all technical limits. In 2014, maybe, Starfield's
In 2014, you really think this would have ran on the PS4 and Xbox One? Even on older hardware back then? Fuck no, it wouldn't have. In 2014, maybe.
graphics are passable due to the game's neat NASA-punk art style. But
It's just a Starfield hate videos. Like,
comparison to games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or even Cyberpunk,
I don't give a fuck about Cyberpunk or Red Dead 2. What's this have to do with Starfield?
Starfield's not going to blow you away, which is okay because graphics aren't everything when it comes
Neither
to
will Cyberpunk. It's literally a GTA clone with RPG elements. Prove me wrong.
video game. Sorry, Kratos. I am hungry. Sorry, Joel, but I like wearing a chicken mask to kill people in a pixelated environment. But when your game isn't a graphical marvel and also acts dead on the inside, we got a problem. Cyberpunk is a big city to play in. It's still limited in some ways.
So, hold on. Let me go back. He said
video
something
game.
about
Sorry,
graphics.
Kratos.
Yep.
I am hungry.
Graphics aren't everything when it comes to a video game. Sorry, Kratos. I am hungry.
Sorry, Joel, but I like wearing a chicken mask to kill people in a pixelated environment. But when your game isn't a graphical marvel and also acts dead on the inside,
Then, okay, why are you bringing up that if it isn't a graphical marvel and it's not working? Like, what? Why can you just say, if it isn't working, then it's dead on the inside? That's all you should have said if graphics aren't the, big deal. I agree. It's not a big deal. Graphics don't mean shit. But at the end of the day, you could have said, remove if your game's not a graphical marvel. It makes it look like graphics are what you look for a little bit. When you say that, you could have just said, if your game acts dead on the inside, it's not a good game. That's all. That's all that matters, if anything.
we got a problem. Cyberpunk is a big city to play in. It's still limited in some ways.
Okay.
You can't go inside every single apartment complex. But Night City is still massive with a lot of different areas to explore and kill people in. Also, the NPCs in the city aren't dead on the inside. NPCs will always have a limit for how many models are going to spawn in. This even happens in Starfield, so this isn't a huge problem. I mean, you're only going to spend like 3 seconds to see if a dude has like a pair of New Religion jeans before you shoot him in the face. But what does matter is how an NPC reacts to your actions because this helps immersion. Which is surprising to me that
I
Starfield
agree.
lacks
Yeah. And Starfield does not have that, and that sucks, and it still doesn't.
in this department because this should be a must.
Well,
since
I
there's
mean, they do react to your actions, but that's only when you shoot an NPC.
strongest aspect is Bethesda magic. If you're not going to put a bunch of effort into the RPG aspect, then at least have the people around you
Motherfucker, they gave you several backgrounds that affect dialogue and can help you in outcomes in certain quests. For factions, even for certain scenarios. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
act like real people. In Cyberpunk, if you shoot in public, NPCs will scatter. In Spider-Man, if you swing close to NPCs, they'll get scared and fall over. In Grand Theft Auto 5, you have this iconic moments.
Asshole! Hey, fuck you, bitch. You are dead.
Yeah, and also they were criticized for, one of the problems with the NPCs in GTA 5 was if you stood close to them, even if you just walked up, they'd get creeped out and probably do something like this or walk away. Like, come on.
Meat.
When in GTA 4, they didn't do that. But now I'm getting into these stupid fucking nonsensical comparisons. But I'm not saying it's similar to Starfield, so I guess I get a pass there a little bit.
Apologize. 1988 evil did a 12-year-old.
Slight
It's a small
pass.
detail, but those small details begin to matter because it makes the world feel real, which helps immersion. Cyberpunk used to have a problem with vehicles in its world, and this made the
guess.
game get compared to GTA in a bad way because Rockstar is really good at making realistic
It
worlds.
still can be compared to GTA. It's literally a role-playing game, in my opinion, from what I played, that's trying to be GTA, but with a cyberpunk theme and role-playing elements. And the humor, I think, is too cringe in cyberpunk. Like, the posters you see, way too GTA try-hard, in my opinion.
Worlds. If you shot at cars, they stood still and wouldn't react, but they fixed this now, and cars will hit you and drive off. In Starfield, you can light up
They
places
should
up
have had that, like you're saying here.
bank robber or point guns at people, and it's just another Tuesday for these guys. You can even flat out light up NPCs without any consequence. The AI civilians in Starfield aren't the brightest.
Yeah, I agree. They have some NPCs. Well, no consequence. Dude, you get bounties, even if the NPC is essential. So, what are you talking about? There's a bit of a consequence. It's the bounty system, and also getting arrested ain't that fun in this game. I hate getting arrested in Starfield because it resets your XP and you have to work it back up. So it has a huge consequence. If, let's say, you're almost to level 50, getting that fucking level 50 achievement, and then all of a sudden you get arrested, well, you have to redo it again. So that is a pretty big consequence. Slows down your level up process if that's what you're doing is grinding. And then you commit a crime, then you get arrested, and you're not strong enough or don't have the weapons to fight fucking security guards. It's a pretty big consequence, and that is a reactive world. I'm just saying.
These tools in the shed, rest in peace.
That shit wasn't.
They all walk the same and react the same, and I know the AIs of other games aren't perfect. They can still sometimes be jank, but when you look at games like GTA 5, which released in 2013, as well as Cyberpunk, it's disappointing how flat
I don't care what GTA 5 did. It should have that, if anything. Like, if you really wanted to embarrass Starfield, I don't know why you didn't bring up GTA 4. Which, in my opinion, was the better GTA game. But that's all opinion, and we'll save that for another time.
Bethesda NPCs still are. And like I said earlier, this all hinders immersion, which essentially is Bethesda magic. And something else that doesn't help is how you get around. Starfield has the same old Bethesda problem of teleportation exploration. It is tedious and obnoxious. But on the bright side, I at least have an SSD. Fallout 4 was hell on earth to deal with. You could go into an elevator and go on an entire...
Hold on.
They all walk the same and react the same, and I know the AIs of other games aren't perfect. They can still sometimes be jank, but when you look at games like GTA 5, which released in 2013, as well as Cyberpunk, it's disappointing how flat Bethesda NPCs still are. And like I said earlier, this all hinders immersion, which essentially is Bethesda magic.
They still do react, though. Not in the way you want, obviously, like GTA. But they still react. A little goofy how they do, but they do.
And something else that doesn't help is how you get around.
I agree. They should have improved that a little bit, but they didn't. So, I mean, what am I going to do? Go march up to their headquarters and say, you need to add another update so the NPCs actually react realistically. Make your game hyper-realistic.
Starfield has the same old Bethesda problem of teleportation exploration. It is tedious and obnoxious. But on the bright side, I at least have an SSD.
Also, it's kind of funny now. I just thought of this. He brought up The Witcher 3 and said it was, like, the better game compared to Fallout 4, right? Like, he was saying it exposed Fallout 4's problems. Even though the game came out way before Fallout 4. Anywho, the NPCs in that game are fucking dead. They are not immersive at all. From what I remember playing of The Witcher 3, all they did was fucking stand there and jerk themselves off day and night. They had no lives. Can't believe he brought it up and said it was a better game.
Fallout 4 was hell on earth to deal with. You could go into an elevator and go on an entire Forrest Gump adventure and come back and still have 30 more seconds. Loading screen after loading screen after loading screen, and 2023 is a problem. It was already a problem with Fallout 4 in 2015. Having to do an animation to land on a planet to then do an animation.
What do you mean a problem? Oh, the time it took. Yeah, I get that. But the problem is, I didn't have a problem with it. It took not even that long for me to get into the area I was going to, whether that be a planet or some interior. Pardon me, I'm sorry. I got the burps. Damn.
Animation to get out of your ship, to then do an animation to get inside a door makes me want to stick a ray gun in my mouth and meet God. To use the elevator in Starfield requires a loading screen
This
for
video makes me want to stick a fucking Winchester in my mouth and meet God.
each floor, to then go into a loading screen for another area. Games have been
Actually, more so want to fall asleep and hopefully meet God in my dreams.
limiting loading screen hell for a while now. One of them being Cyberpunk. In Cyberpunk, the elevator actually works. It goes up and down
I
in real
don't
time.
care, dude. Cool. That's the only elevator I believe in the game. I haven't played enough of it, so maybe I'm wrong. Probably am.
A lot of areas in Cyberpunk have you just walking inside rooms instead of going to loading screen after loading screen after loading screen. Even in space, loading screens are
Yeah,
still...
but in my opinion, Starfield looks way better graphically. So my theory is the reason there's loading screens for those areas. And don't get me wrong, I wish there was none, but they wanted things to stay consistent, so they probably wanted things to render as soon as it stopped loading. Again, I mean, I'm not going to run with this bullshit narrative. I didn't have a problem with the fucking loading screens.
Loading screen to get into your ship, loading screen to get into space, loading screen to go on a planet, loading screen to get off your ship, loading screen to go into a building. And
Loading
between all this,
screen,
you're navigating
loading
through a confusing
screen.
menu to find out where the hell you're going. Where the hell is New Atlantis? I can't find it. This
You really didn't know where New Atlantis was? It's one of the most easiest in the first planets you fucking go to, where you're introduced to one of the most massive fucking cities. Are you kidding? Come
is a Bethesda problem.
on.
They're still using the creation
Skip
engine,
up.
which is old as hell, causing these limitations. All they did was polish the visuals and add physics, which is nice. Cool, someone gets to spun in a bunch of potatoes to get some Twitter likes. But those physics bog down the game's FPS and is not worth the trade-off of seamlessness. AAA games can be seamless. Spider-Man Miles Morales launched with the PS5, and they made it a point to show off the PlayStation's new SSD, and how exiting buildings...
What's this have to do with anything? Who cares? And if anything, fucking Spider-Man takes place in one world, which is New York. You know, it's a city, but, you know, gameplay-wise, or video game talk here, it's a world, and Spider-Man takes place in New York. It's one controlled environment. Starfield isn't like that. What's with the fucking comparison? The PlayStation showing up the SSD with Spider-Man. I don't give a fuck.
can now be done in an instance. Where on the
This is not Starfield. This is not doing anything related to Starfield. Even, like, what the fuck?
PS4, this wasn't a possibility. Cyberpunk demanded a lot at times, but the city is rendered in real time to avoid loading screen problems. And Starfield is not easy to run either. Like I said earlier, on Xbox it's capped at 30 FPS for consistency, since anything higher is going to result in frame dips, and on PC it's been shown to have frame problems. No Man's Sky...
And still did have frame dips, especially in the major cities. Keelah City, at least for me, Keelah City was the most frame-killing city ever. When you go through the bridge, you know, when you're entering the city, or whatever the hell it is, for whatever reason, in my experience with the game, it did that. But did it bother me? No. Because I'm not going to sit here and bitch about small things, because once I got into the actual city part, it fixed itself and it was playable. Now, if it was like that throughout the entire fucking city, or every major city on a, you know, in a system like, you know, Jemison, in the Volii system, I forget the fucking name of that planet Neon's on, but, if it ran like that, ooh, I could see the point, but I don't. And even though this video aged so poorly, man, holy shit, oh, it runs at 30 FPS, even though later on it got a 60 FPS literally under a year.
is also a space game that has seamlessness. You can land on a planet, leave your ship, explore the planet, get back on your ship, and leave the planet all in one move. The loading screens ruin immersion in Starfield. It makes it feel like you're moving from preloaded box to box. You are not in a spaceship.
Yeah, but didn't you say it took 2 seconds with an SSD? So you're the one killing your own immersion, brother.
Just a transition screen. And it begins to bog down the game.
Again, as I stated before, well, I didn't state this. He sucks at role-playing. If you really think Fallout 4 is not a role-playing game, you're not really as good at role-playing as you think. I'm just saying.
You're not docking onto another ship. You're clicking A on a space door to get
poor
teleported to another loading screen.
self-control if you can't limit yourself in a fucking video game.
And then click A again to go to the next generated box. It's intrusive. There should be loading screens for hyperjumps and for leaving planets. That's it. Everything that happens in preloaded spots should already be generated. I should be able to
I agree.
board ships seamlessly. I should be able to open doors seamlessly. And we cried about this when Fallout 4 came out. But now you have SSDs, so...
But Fallout 4 didn't have... Going by this logic, Fallout 4 didn't have that many loading screens. What do you mean by that? Like, do you mean the amount of time it took? Because I remember one of the big complaints about loading in Fallout 4 is it took a little bit sometimes. I guess that's what he means.
Oh, you just
But
gotta deal
he's
with
not
black screen
being
for 2 seconds.
specific.
Unless you're stuck in an annoying force animation.
There we go. For 2 seconds,
to trick your immersion. Also, if you have an old hard
he just... Oh my god, dude. Really? 2 seconds? Is that much of a problem for you? Jesus Christ.
drive on PC, then you can go f yourself. So with all these annoying loading screens, the star map also made me
Thank
want to go...
God you're not a game developer, because you'd probably be yelling at people for loading screens.
Open map, set course. Open map, set course. I want to go back to New Atlantis. Where's that again? Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, you're fired! That's a loading screen. We don't want that in my game. Even though your game ends up being fucking unrendered as shit. And it takes like a half hour for all the fucking textures to load in and everything else. There's loading screens for a reason. Jeez.
Do the mission to talk to Sam Coe so I could go back to New Atlantis, and then after set course to the next one. Let's go to the key. Oh, you don't have strong enough grab drives, so let's make you play a game of Clue on where to go, to then be put into 3 loading screens to get where the fuck you want to go. Grab jumping multiple times in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 will seem
There's also a perk that you can use to make your grav jumping experience a lot better. Just saying. Also, you can also buy a better grav jump too, I believe. I didn't get much into the shipbuilding. Despite how much hours I put into it, I got into the role-playing, dude. That's what I live for.
It also made Baby Groot throw up, but in Starfield it's a chore and made me want to throw up as well, but not with excitement.
This video also made me want to throw up and meet God a few times.
You can't even do 3 grab jumps back to back. You have to play the menu before, and it's animation.
The pedo jokes, like, seriously?
After animation with the clunky map in between, like, holy shit.
I get it. I like edgy jokes myself, but, like, come on. The overconsumption of the pedo jokes. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on.
Mass Effect even had a better system in 2007, but hey, at least you get to explore hundreds of awesome planets. Zelda, Red Dead 2, Elden Ring, The Witcher 3.
Here we go. Who gives a shit?
Cyberpunk all have
All the games that have nothing to do with this game apparently make it in the video.
a lot going on for them in their open worlds. Starfield.
Yeah, they do, because they're all different, trying to achieve different things. I don't know what you mean by that, because the NPCs in fucking Witcher 3 are terrible. Like, the civilians, god damn. That shit is outdated as hell, dude. Worse than fucking Starfield. At least they move around and they give you the illusion that they actually... It's a living, breathing city. Fucking Witcher 3, not so much.
It's now a thing of its own. And
My
the
own
idea it has going for
opinion.
them could work greatly. Having not a huge world to explore, but a bunch of mini worlds with unique things is a good idea. It's what No Man's Sky did, but
Kinda
Starfield
like
just
that
does it so
editing
poorly.
there.
Planets have
And
procedures.
the editing's not bad. This video is just poorly done. Like, I don't get the whole thing with, you know, bringing up these games. Ooh, Breath of the Wild. I heard some people think that game's boring as fuck. And I played Breath of the Wild. I actually have it. And I wasn't a big fan of it either.
Generated content, which means that the cool stuff you're going to want to explore is auto-generated from planet to planet. And in between these
Auto-generated
locations, all you have is boring
planet.
shit to scan, and sometimes random
He's
wildlife.
saying it's better. Oh. Oh, God.
Really bad AI and abandoned areas with pirates looting. And unlike games like
Pirates
Far
looting.
Cry or even Halo Infinite to an extent, no factions lay siege to any planets, so you're not going to be fighting for territory claimed by Spacers, Ecliptic, Freestar Galactic, Varun, Crimson, or even the United Colonies, which is just a missed layup. Like, imagine if you could strengthen allegiances in Starfield by conquering claimed areas in the name of whatever house you chose, taking over Spacer claimed territory for the United Colonies,
Yeah, but that's why the Colony War happened, dumbass.
or raiding United Colony territory for the Crimson Fleets. It would strengthen the factions in Starfield and give a fun shootout for these empty planets. Tell me sweet little lies, Todd. These planets are boring. You are coping if you think scanning animals, rocks, and plants is engagement. Random space.
You're coping that you don't seem to understand that they're going for a semi-realistic space exploring game. And the planets are based on pretty much what we know about planets now. Which is interesting. I like their take on it, honestly. But, again, that's a difference in opinion. I mean, I guess you really weren't into space games. Or, as he said earlier, you know, he was talking to his friends, and then all of a sudden, he just doesn't like the game. All the special things went away. Which is sad. I mean,
These battle
that's
dogfights are fun,
pathetic.
so why is there nothing happening on foot? And you know what's worse about this filler? Is exploring the filler. It sucks. If you're gonna give me boring wild areas, then let me traverse it, Todd. Why is everything spread so far apart with no traversal or incentivizing manipulation? Breath of the Wild was designed to constantly keep you exploring on foot by giving you distractions, and to get these distractions you were able to climb and glide and get a horse.
I don't remember getting that many distractions in Breath of the Wild. I
Necessary.
don't.
In Red Dead, you have a horse. In Skyrim, you have a horse. In The Witcher, you have a horse. Minecraft, you have a horse. In Cyberpunk, you have vehicles. In GTA, you have vehicles. Elden Ring, a From Software game that was famous for
I just don't give a fuck.
backstabs and rolling, has an
I don't
interesting
give a
world full.
fuck. Oh, cool. But they're all taking place in a controlled world. One, not 1,000, where you could jump from world to world, like Starfield. That's why. What the fuck? you know, did not mind the, the original way of exploring. But now, since the rover's been out, or the Rev 8, whatever you want to call it, I could see this complaint. I mean, again, whatever, difference in opinion.
life, and even then, you have a horse because walking is not fun.
It's
All you
just
have
being presented really weird.
Starfield is a jet
and
boost.
not in a nonsensical way.
An alternate mode so that you can continuously fly like Iron Man, because to do that would mean that you can also have fun in space, which means you have to exit your ship and fly in space, but this is Bethesda, and that means more game design. This is possible, by the way. People find an exploit to see what it would look like.
Yeah, and you don't know a damn thing about game design, because I guarantee if you ever gotten a job with Bethesda or whatever team you're going to work for, you're probably going to be like, damn, I was stupid back then, said a lot of dumb shit.
But hey, the modders will find a way to make this a reality, so let's just not do anything. On planets you will...
Again, the modders will fix it, Sure. Oh my god, modders actually don't fix broken games. And if the game was that boring, there wouldn't be as many mods as there is for it currently. Like, you've got to be kidding.
will run until you're out of stamina, which is
Oh,
very
the modders would fix it.
little since the upgrade for it was bugged
Again,
for 2
this video is aged worse than milk. As I said before.
weeks, then you boost over and over again. But Skipper, all the horses and cars are in open world games. This is Starfield. It makes no sense. You know who's smart enough to understand that gamers are going to get bored of exploring empty places with the intention of going from point A to point B? Bungie. In Destiny, you will fly to places intended for stuff, and instead of
Oh, cool. Another game I don't give a fuck about.
forcing you to walk, they give you a space motorcycle. And this was in 2014, a year before
I
Fall.
don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I just don't, dude. What's this have to do with anything? Bungie did this in 2014. They allowed you to go this and that because it was in a controlled environment. Not to the extent Starfield went.
Fallout 4. If you're going to be lazy with Bethesda...
But again, if they genuinely did not like the way you explored planets at the time, that's fine. Again, difference in opinion.
just let us be able to click a button to park these ships at these places. Since we can't do it ourselves like you would in No Man's Sky. I'd rather have a cutscene to get where I need to go, rather than running and boosting over and over again. It's boring. Traversal is such an important part to exploration because it lets you be able to experience these great places, but not linger around so much that it gets annoying. Red Dead 2 is a gorgeous game with a gorgeous world, but having a horse allows it to become such a great backdrop while I traverse it. Same with so many other games. So for Starfield to have such boring areas with bad traversal ruined a lot of the Bethesda magic. You would have thought that the traversal and loading screens were the end of the stop and go experience. But we also have weight limits. Weight limits are in a lot of games. It's to stop you from having...
I kind of agree. But now they added the Rev 8 within under a year, so... Didn't take them 3 years, like CD Projekt Red, to add something so simple. But yet CD Projekt Red released a completely broken game, and we're going by their logic. I don't know if that's even true, based because it's on the fucking internet. And as the saying goes, don't believe everything you see on the internet. That's 100% true, and that also applies to YouTube.
literally every item in your inventory, because you don't need all these little damage machine guns next to the
Minecraft, okay, cool.
big kahunas. But what's annoying is when weight limits start to affect the game in a negative way. That's what happened in Starfield a lot. In Starfield, when you're...
And then get perks and sell your items or drop them. It's not that hard. It's not that fucking hard. And if you're going to complain about that, you're just a lazy role player, or a lazy gamer who, honestly, with him saying that, it makes me think he doesn't even understand the game. Yeah, it's tough, and also with the whole faction thing, like, that was the reason the colony war started, was because people were trying to colonize planets and claim it. But then they worked out a fucking deal. Maybe I could be getting that wrong. It's been a while since I've done my lore homework on Starfield, but I do know the colony wars it's called the colony wars for a fucking reason. Colonize other planets. Good luck with that. Start another
you're above weight capacity, your oxygen burns even when you're just walking. And when you run out of oxygen, it starts to get replaced by CO2. That begins to damage your health. This is a hindrance. You do not...
So you would rather walk when you're over cucumbered instead of still being able to jog, but it uses your CO2. Okay, whatever, dude. You can walk while over cucumbered all you want.
Want to go over the weight limits. So to not deal with this problem, you have to neglect a core part of the game. Most of my playthrough, I avoided materials and junk because it made my experience horrible. But even food and aid items would add weights, which meant that I got punished for looting and exploring. These gameplay choices are awful, but even with them in place, why is the base and max weight limit so low? Weightlifting was the first perk I fully upgraded. But even fully upgraded, it's only 219 pounds. So throughout the game, I was constantly dumping...
I don't know about that. I'm going to have to do some research. Let's actually do that now. I'll get back to you guys in a minute. Okay, well, couldn't find anything. Probably gonna have to talk to ChatGPT and have it do the research, but whatever. Whatever, dude. Let's go back to it. Alright, so all I have to say to this is that this guy does not know how to manage his fucking inventory, which is the entire point. There's even carry limit anyways for you to manage that. So, I don't know what to tell you.
Dumping resources and
Stop picking up things. Like,
which meant I could never craft
seriously.
or research. I know you could put it into your room at the lodge, but I didn't find this out until after I finished the game. Also, I'm not going to ruin the game by carrying 100 pounds of office supplies and then just dump it at home. Even my spaceship was always at full capacity, so I can never loot in space. And this is going to be most people's experience in Starfield. They aren't going to go play Minecraft, or add optics and lasers to guns, or upgrade armor, because to do so ruins the game's experience. And you're going to constantly be finding new guns and armor anyway, so what's the point of making the game a living hell for something that's not even worth it? It's old game design, it should have been adjusted. After Fallout 4, Cyberpunk did it right. Components in Cyberpunk have no weight. Aid items also have no weight. And sites for
Oh, nice. I don't care. That just doesn't make it immersive. And I do think it does have weight. There's literally a weight thing here. I don't... Maybe it's a perk.
weapons have no weight either, alongside mods that can be applied to both weapons and clothing. Even grenades are weightless, so go ahead and stockpile those bitches. The only things that have weight are clothing and weapons. This makes the game greater since now you can craft and modify weapons in your playthrough, since you'll always have a sole spot for components. It also helps the game be seamless, since you're not going to constantly be stopping to dump a bunch of junk that takes up a lot of weight. I'm a loot monkey. I love looking in cabinets and lockers for anything I can find. And in every game, I'm rewarded for exploring, whereas in Starfield, I'm punished. Grenades add weight, junk adds weight, and materials add weight. By the end of Cyberpunk, I had over 400 pounds available, or in Starfield, I
sell that shit. That's all I gotta say,
had
dude.
219. It's stupid. It also makes the gameplay in Starfield clunky.
What did it say? 235. He's saying it's 215. He's objectively wrong there.
Since looting mid-fight station will put you above weight limit, ruining the pace of combat.
Wow.
With all these problems, please
I am not surprised.
the gunplay at least be amazing. Starfield's combat is incredibly aged. The massive change from Fallout 4 is that you can mantle, that still feels awkward, and that you can slide. But only if you get a perk to do so, that also feels awkward. And you have a space booster. That's it.
I didn't
Other
know
than
you
that,
could slide. Actually, that's new to me. I did not know that. After all the hours I've spent, holy shit. I do play very restricted. I do heavily restrict my characters, so I don't experience everything all at once. To me, that's not immersive, but, you know, play how you want.
it's Fallout 4 all
I
over
didn't know
again.
that. It's Fallout 4 all over again. Shh. Oh my god. The
Except not
Fallout
as
4 in space argument? Stupid. These aren't the same games. There's different mechanics in each of them. They make them distinctively different. He's trying to say it's no different than Fallout 4, even though it has more dialogue options, more roleplay ability, and I'm not shitting on Fallout 4 for saying that. I'm saying it has more roleplay ability, and more background choices and dialogue options that do affect the way you play the game. Some of them can even get you out of situations and end quests in peaceful ways. But you do you.
When I play video games, you know what I love? Blood. I was a kid that grew up on Gears of War. I was wall hopping and turning people into slabs of meat. I was popping off heads and cutting people in half with a chainsaw. Did this mess me up today? Nope. Oh, you're a kid playing violent video games? Yeah, turn me to fucking greatness, bitch. Shut up. I'm not a saint or Mr. Rogers. I'm just a simple man that enjoys violence. In Skyrim, decapitating people is a charm. And in Fallout, who doesn't love the fun humor of blowing someone to bits, or turning them into a pile of ash, or making a man's head fall into his own arms? Bethesda used to embrace the chaos of dismemberment and violence. And that sentiment was carried to Cyberpunk, baby. You could cut people's heads with a katana, turn them into a kebab, shoot someone's head off, shoot arms off.
Don't care. Don't care what Cyber GTA clone does.
And execute people. You can loot their limbs on the floor. Even when they die, a pool of blood follows. If they're mostly cybernetic, blood and oil spills out. Hell, even Obsidian did this in Outer Worlds. In Starfield, none of this is present. People just die. No dismemberment, no fun laser burns, or people getting turned into ash. You shoot someone, and they die. Not even a cool animation like Red Dead either. Just a default death animation with no wounds or aftermath. It's a regression from Fallout 4, and also makes it...
Yeah, but he also forgot to mention in Skyrim that the only way you could decapitate people is by getting a perk, so you could play the game with no gore, besides the beheadings that you can, you know, see, like in Solitude, and at the beginning of the game. Other than that, you could play the game gore-free, just heavy blood. So, I don't know, like, what the argument here is. I don't care there's no dismemberment. Like, it doesn't need to be in every fucking Bethesda game.
no sense since the game is still rated M. And this regression is just how I feel.
Because of the themes. Do you think they're going to rate a game? And plus, okay, before... I'm not even going to get into this. The SRB's already fucked up, so why do you care? It's rated M, so it should have gore. But it does have some mature moments. Like, you can... Even in this, like, the game is darker than people think. Like, here's the thing. There's a random encounter ship that you can encounter while you're flying around space doing whatever the fuck you're doing. We're getting one planet or going from one planet to the next. Again, whatever you're doing. And there's a ship you can encounter where a father and a 6-year-old daughter are on it, and she offers to sell you lemonade, which it ends up, spoiler alert, ends up being orange juice. You could blow the ship up. Bro. You, again, metaphorically can kill a child. What? And you're like, oh, well, I don't know why this is rated M. I think that's one of the reasons. But again, the ESRB is a joke anyways. I don't know why he brought that up.
Total about its gameplay. A dead giveaway that Bethesda stuck in the past is by simply looking down. In 2023, we still can't see our feet, Bethesda. What the hell? Even CSGO has this. The grenade animation is copy and paste from
I
Fallout.
do this. I look down at my character's legs. I do try to do that. And if a game has it, cool. If it doesn't, then alright. I'll play in third person. No, if it doesn't have it, I'm not going to flip out about it. None of Bethesda's games have this. And it doesn't matter if they do or don't. Who cares at the end of the day? Damn.
4, even down to the noise and loss of frame rate and explosions. The boost mechanic, while being neat, also feels janky. You either have a small control boost or a big boost, but due to the weight problem, it's hard to give yourself options, so you're usually going to be stuck with one or the other. Also, the arsenal is really bland. For a game set 300 years in future space, it goes back to just being Fallout. Ballistic weapons and laser rifles.
Kind of.
Most legendary weapons, like the 2 guns you get from the Crimson Fleet path, are just reskins of normal weapon types. The gun variation is really low, and they all do the same thing, ballistic and lasers. Guns in Cyberpunk can range in many different ways. Tech weapons that lock on, super weapons, heavy
I don't care. I really don't.
snipers, tech shotguns, missile launchers, a gun that speaks to you.
Who is it? I should kick your fucking ass.
Johnny
I didn't
Silverhand's
get that
pistol with
gun.
a unique reload animation and melee ability. You have the whole hacking angle,
a cool
abilities
gun.
like it's
I remember getting it and thought it was interesting. It does have unique weapons for sure, but don't see this has to do with Starfield. But all those weapons still do different things. All the uniques do different things. One of them actually drops extra med packs, which is fucking useful if you're strapped for creds.
slow down time or make you shoot wrist rockets and shit. Look at games like Borderlands 3 that came out in 2019 even. A bunch of gun types with alternate firing modes, elemental guns,
Look at
infinity.
that. It's the same thing as Starfield. There's 1,000 planets you can explore in Borderlands. Wow. Okay.
Guns. The combat in Starfield is nothing special. What's even more embarrassing than the
Nothing
outdated
special.
gunplay is the outdated melee combat. Melee in Cyberpunk is flashy and viable. You have a mix of speed and carnage.
I don't give a fuck about the melee combat in goddamn Cyberpunk. Who cares? It's a different game. He's just doing... This is bad faith. He's just showing off other games, saying, look, this game does this, that they didn't develop. And look at Starfield. Doesn't have that. Yeah, because that's not where their priorities were. You can be mature, not be overly violent. As a matter of fact, Cyberpunk is pretty immature for a game. I'm not gonna lie.
That makes it a beloved light. Melee in Starfield is outdated, clunky, and aged. Especially since Starfield's gone soft now. It's
Some of the nude scenes in Cyberpunk were just cringe. Like, it was like, I like tits and all, but bro, it's like, it was obvious that they were trying to be edgy, and it's just really cringe how they did it to me. I don't know. To me, it was just felt like they were trying to be fucking obvious about it. And like, look at us. We could be just as edgy.
fucking embarrassing. Like, look at this. Might as well all be fucking baseball bats.
And to be honest, I don't give a shit
flash,
either
as well as
way.
no substance. The magic stuff in the game is pretty nice, like being able to spawn a clone of yourself or shoot a fucking fireball. But other than that, it's nothing impressive. And games from Cyberpunk to Borderlands, even Destiny, all do things better.
It was cool and all, but it's not that impressive. It was cool.
This whole video has been talking about Starfield bells and whistles, but now we have to address the massive elephant in the room. And that elephant's name is Jerome, and he's playing New Vegas. RPG stands for
Yeah. Okay.
role-playing game. And Starfield has been put into a really awkward spot where everyone wants to give it Game of the Year hype, but Baldur's Gate 3 has also released this year, so yeah, no fucking chance.
Baldur's Gate 3 is pretty overrated, bro. It's a sex sim. No, I'm just kidding. It's a good game. I actually like Baldur's Gate 3. I think I'm on Act 3 or 2. Don't remember where I'm at, honestly. Stopped playing, and since console mods came out, they're a joke. They're a joke. And honestly, what did Baldur's Gate 3 even do? It's still, like, there's a reason people are calling it Divinity 3. There's a reason they're calling it that. So let's see what he says.
It's like there even was one before. The original Baldur's Gate role-playing game came out in 1998, and Fallout the role-playing game came out in 1997, and were both very popular. And now it's 2023, and you have Space Fallout and Baldur's Gate 3 showing who's adapted and gotten stronger since the Chicago Bulls.
They did not adapt. They just added cutscenes. Wonderful. Do you know what would have been more innovative for Baldur's Gate 3? I heard that initially they were going to have a first person That would have been interesting to see in a CRPG. But no, they went right back to their old roots, dude. Like, again, there's a reason why people are calling it Divinity 3. I like Baldur's Gate 3. First CRPG I actually like. But for the most part, it's not as grand as people make it out to be.
Dominated 90s era. Starfield isn't just aged in its gameplay, but it's also massively regressed as a role-playing experience from games like Skyrim and even Fallout 3, suffering from the same problems that were in Fallout 4, which was heavily scrutinized for being a massive downstep from Fallout New Vegas. Let's talk about immersion.
Then you suck at role-playing, dude. It's at a crossroads. Let's go back and listen to his bullshit about RPGs again.
Flashy and viable. You have a mix of speed and carnage that makes it a beloved delight. Melee in Starfield is outdated, clunky, and aged. Especially since Starfield's gone soft now, it's fucking embarrassing. Like, look at this. Might as well all be fucking baseball bats. No flash, as well as no substance. The magic stuff in the game is pretty nice, like being able to spawn a clone of yourself or shoot a fucking fireball. But other than that, it's nothing impressive. And games from Cyberpunk to Borderlands, even Destiny, all do things better. This whole video has been talking about Starfield's bells and whistles. But now we have to address the massive elephant in the room. And that elephant's name is Jerome, and he's playing New Vegas. RPG stands for role-playing game. And Starfield has been put into a really awkward spot where everyone wants to give it Game of the Year hype, but Baldur's Gate 3 has also released this year, so yeah, no fucking chance. Like, there even was one before. The original Baldur's Gate role-playing game came out in 1998, and Fallout the role-playing game came out in 1997, and were both very popular. And now it's 2023, and you have Space Fallout and Baldur's Gate 3 showing who's adapted and gotten stronger since that Chicago Bulls dominated 90s era. Starfield isn't just aged in its gameplay, but it's also massively regressed as a role-playing experience from games like Skyrim and even Fallout 3, suffering from the same problems
What problems?
that were in Fallout 4, which was heavily scrutinized for being a massive downstep from Fallout New Vegas. Let's talk about immersion real quick. Bethesda's voice
So you just say things and don't explain. Okay. Fucking A, dude. This is a terrible video. Some things I agreed with, I will say. Of course. But you're just saying that it's not a good role-playing game, and then you move on. You switch the goalpost because you have nothing else to say. You don't have an argument. Bro, you just are terrible at playing out the character you had in your mind, which I think is the case. Or you don't even understand the role-playing games. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell
this
you.
funny-ass retake in Oblivion.
Right. Wait a minute, let me do that one again.
And this wasn't the only one. This happened multiple other times. You also have Todd Howard himself with an Oscar performance.
That really pisses me off.
And while this is all really fun to laugh at,
That was funny. I did see that. Pretty sure Todd had some fun. It's fine. He wasn't even an NPC that I think that was in the game. I haven't played much of Oblivion. I couldn't even get into it.
the present jank just pisses me off. Bethesda with a lot of money, time, and resources have dropped the ball on immersive roleplay. Starfield is a flat-out embarrassment when looking at games like Cyberpunk and even Baldur's Gate 3, which had less resources and money than Bethesda. Every character is flat and soulless looking, their dialogue is underwhelming, and their writing is
flat and soulless looking. Are you kidding me? Those mouth muscles, bro. They even have facial expressions. What the fuck? Flat and soulless.
Mediocre. Also yes you, Drizzy Drake, suck as a character. The Disneyland ride becomes problematic when you have no influence on where the ride goes. The fun of roleplay is being able to make an impact on the world you play in, which can also progress the story in many different ways. Cyberpunk is a bad RPG, and was rightfully criticized. All roleplay was a linear path to the main quest of the game. A great quote once said from Willem Dafoe in the hit animated movie Finding Nemo represents this. All drains lead to the ocean. But at least for a Disneyland ride, the main Cyberpunk quest is a bit interesting. Even Fallout 4 is a bit interesting. Dead guy stuck in my head in corrupt government, and I need to rescue my son who was stolen from me. While being shit RPGs, they both at least can be played as fun movies. Starfield though, the main quest is awful, and the world around you is hindered because of it, making it not a fun incredible
Subjective.
coaster adventure or an immersive roleplay experience. And this is because
But I really think he doesn't believe what he's saying, because you'd have to be delusional, in my opinion, to think that you could just drop that it's not an RPG, say that it had the same issues as Cyberpunk, and not explain at all what you mean. You just said it's not a role-playing game. They took all that out. For what reason? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because, your choices don't have consequences, which is bullshit. I mean, if that was the case, there would be no bounty system, and you'd be able to get away with any crime scot-free. And what about the ending to the Crimson Fleet and the UC Sistef quest line? What about that? You can't choose both. You have to side with one or the other. You could even screw them over, too. If you said no to Sistef, you could still, I think, help them out. At the very end. And you get a choice in what happens to them. The choice I chose was to, I think, capture them, but one of the other ones was to blow up their ship entirely. The Vigilance. Dude, roleplay better.
Starfield has no guts. This whole video, Fallout New Vegas, has been hanging from a string taped on the ceiling being used for comparison. But why, Dr. Skipper? Why do you keep teasing New Vegas? It's because Fallout New Vegas...
Because it just makes no sense to bring up New Vegas at all, but you're just going to gloat about how great New Vegas is.
Is one of the best roleplay games of all time. Of all time! Way better than anything Bethesda has ever made, including Skyrim. And this is because of the massive guts that Obsidian Entertainment had, giving you the keys to its world, allowing you to do whatever the hell you want. And I mean this,
Not really, dude. Not really. I mean, they restricted you to certain things, like if you chose explosive, or let's say you chose energy weapons over guns. Let's say you chose the energy weapon skill over the guns. Well, guess what happens, dude? You're going to be shit with guns, and you're going to have to use energy weapons. Well, they allowed you to do whatever you want. Not if you've already vilified yourself from a faction early on. I don't know, dude.
There's a robot in the game named Yes Man that can't die, and the only reason he can't die...
And also, I hate this one because they also seem to forget that, fuck. What's his name? The robot that digs you out of the fucking grave. Damn it. I really like him too, but the problem is I can't fucking remember his name. Whatever his name is, we'll call him Howdy Doody. No, we'll call him Victor. That's right. Victor can't die either. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I remember one time I killed him in Novak, and when I got to Boulder City, he still showed up. Following the Tin Man on the Yellow Brick Road. Like, damn, you can't kill that motherfucker either.
So that you could complete the game. And this is because you are able to kill every single person in Fallout New Vegas if you want to. Unless they're children, but you could get a mod and send those little shits to meet their maker. Having the ability to kill everyone in the game requires a lot of guts, because it means that the game has a ton of alternate choices around every decision you make. Meaning that the game's world has a lot of writing and attention to detail. New Vegas and Starfield have very similar structures. You have a bunch of factions with lore and history. In New Vegas, you have Caesar's Legion, the New California Republic, the Brotherhood of Steel, and Mr. House. And in Starfield, you have United Colonies, the Freestar Collective, House of Varun, and the Crimson Fleet. And under these, you have smaller fish like the Followers of the Apocalypse. And for Starfield, you have the Ecliptic, Spacers, etc. But both games have a lot of players in the kiddie pool. In New Vegas, the main story is that each one of the factions wants to claim New Vegas. So this really basic idea leads to a bunch of nuance that leads to the ending of the game of who gets New Vegas. And the whole story leading to this ending is based on what you do. What factions do you have allegiance with? Who do you meet through your adventure to help get you your goals? The game is centered around choice, making every faction important to learn and interact with. But you are not forced to. You can tunnel vision down one rabbit hole and beat the game. You can kill everyone and beat the game. There is no hand-holding. It's whatever you want to do. In Starfield,
There's a bit of hand-holding. To be honest, the entire way to get to the strip is through taking the I-15. Even the NPCs pretty much say you should take that road. Also, I hate... This is a little off topic, but Obsidian kind of fucked up the role-playing in New Vegas with the backstory drop in Lonesome Road. Do people forget about that? How Ulysses, or apparently your character, went to Utah and caused the divide? And Ulysses... Well, but you could tell him that you had nothing to do with it. Well, he keeps insisting you did. Implying... The writers were implying that you did do that. And in my own opinion, that's worse. And I don't care if it's in the base game or not. Well, you can ignore it. Just don't play the DLC. It's still there. And the devs made the DLC. So with that in mind, New Vegas ain't as perfect and pretty as people want to fucking believe. Just take the condom off and see the ugly for what it is. Holy shit. Holy shit.
you have no choice. The game is structured around this boring Unity plot where you're forced to be a part of a team that has good moral...
That's subjective. I found the story quite interesting. I don't really agree.
explorers that want to find artifacts, because why the fuck not? You could beat the main game in 2 hours by playing Minecraft and getting all the artifacts, for the ending just to be that you reincarnate and get stuck in a loop of doing the same events over and over and over again. And because of this, the entire game is all smoke and mirrors. The Starborn are hardly fleshed out and have no end game other than New Game Plus, and since this camp...
Yeah, because they're mysterious, and there's really, like, that's the whole point of the game, is everything's a mystery, and it pretty much leaves it up to you. It's one of the best things about Starfield to me, is, well, you know, the main story. Because it's questioning what the fuck's out there. It challenges your brain a little bit. Like, what is out there? Is something like this possible? That's actually the funniest thing, too, is that something like this could be. There's already the theory of, like, multiple universes and all this other shit, and maybe space has the answers to it. We don't know. I like games that do this, and Starfield was one of them. And or not games, but media in general, like a movie or show, if it was interesting enough. I don't really watch a lot of movies or TV shows, but if it was interesting enough, yeah. And it does challenge your mind a little bit. It's like, what are these things? What are these people? What actually are Starborn? But they're just, I mean, I think it is explained. They're just different people from other universes.
Campaign is so tunnel vision down this one choice, it makes the rest of Starfield play out like a museum. In a museum, you look at stuff and see history, but you can't interact or touch anything. That's Starfield side
Well,
quest.
that's the point of the quest. And the point you made about New Vegas is that it's pretty much faction-based. And yeah, you bet your ass there better be choices when it comes to factions, which in Starfield there is. When you either join with UC, with the UC Navy, you know, the Vanguard, the Freestar Collective, or the Freestar Rangers, and the Crimson Fleet, and they're, you know, fighting with the UC SysDef towards the end. So I don't know what to tell you, but they're not what ends the game. That's not what the game's about. They're just there for you to join and to actually roleplay as a character. Like, you can also pirate ships through dialogue. You know, you can't roleplay. You can't.
You can do all the side quests for all the factions in Starfield, but it has no overall impact on the game's story or narrative.
No, because that shouldn't be the case at all. At all. Because that's not the main story. If Starfield had a faction-based plot where the factions were the focus and they were the end-all be-all to when you finish the game or not, then yes, they better have, you know, made your choices more impactful and affect the story if that was the goal with what they were doing with the story, with the faction stuff. If it was based on, you know, UC SysDef, you know, the Crimson Fleet, and also Freestar Rangers, then yeah, I would say maybe I would agree, but that's not what's happening. They're not the main story. They're just extra content and role playability. That's the whole point of these factions. They're not the end all be all to your fucking story. You can have it that way, but I'm sorry, that's not the story with the game. So it'd make no sense for the factions to even have an impact on the story whatsoever when Constellation is a completely separate entity. Like, they're not aligned to any faction. Like, for fuck's sake, they have an ex-Freestar Ranger, Sam Coe, involved with them. So they clearly don't care where you come from as long as you don't bring UC security to their doorsteps.
In Starfield, there is no consequence or karma system, and having no consequence makes this game feel spineless and lazy. In New Vegas, you could go...
Okay, well, the bounty system is a thing. So what do you mean? You commit a crime, you have a bounty to pay. And the more you commit the crime, it keeps adding on. And it even could get to the point where you can't even go back to those fucking cities because the bounty's so fucking high, you can't afford to pay it. And if you don't want to go to jail and lose all your XP, then you shouldn't be going to those cities. There's no consequences at all. And of course, and I'm going to have to say it again, the end game result between the Crimson Fleet and UC SysDef, even the ending to the fucking UC Vanguard quest line, even to the Freestar Ranger quest line, there's choices and consequences. I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but yeah, play the game for yourself.
Go right up to Caesar and smoke him from the jump if you want to. And by doing this, the Legion hates you, and the whole game changes around this decision. In Starfield, you can meet up with the Council...
Yeah, because again, it's faction-based. It has nothing to do... Like, the factions are not the main focus of the story for Starfield. Not once, not twice, not at all. They're just there for you to join to roleplay, for one, and for two, they're there for extra content. That's it. And also for world, you know, building reasons and lore and all that good stuff.
the United Colonies and try to light them up, but you aren't allowed to. You can't even break allegiance with United Colonies if you wanted to either. You literally can't. If you go to the NCR and light up civilians, you become hated by the NCR, which closes quest lines that could shift how the entire game plays. If you go to New Atlantis and shoot up the place like a terrorist, you get a bounty that you can pay off, and everything goes back to normal. The United Colonies don't hate you. It doesn't affect how the story pans out.
Unless that bounty ends up adding on, because if you're in, let's say, a United Colonies system, and you wipe out or shoot an NPC that's, a civilian, you get that bounty gets added to the bounty you already had if you committed the crime in Aquila City or New Atlantis. What the fuck? That's still a consequence. You get arrested too, dude. Like, damn.
Nothing. And this bleeds throughout the whole entire game. You have no consequences. I decimated a United Colony ship.
That's objectively not true.
Pirates. Now still able to become a United Colony.
But you just pay a bounty, not unless you can't afford the bounty. Then you're kind of fucked.
Citizen and do an entire quest line for them. I met the fucking council after destroying one of their ships. There's a mission where old Earth people want to inhabit a planet that's claimed by a resort owner. So you talk to the business asshole. You have two options: give the travelers grab drives so they can find another planet, or blow up their ship. You can't help them invade and take the place over, and you can't stick it to the snobby, money-hungry asshole either. I blew up the ship, and then after I made an attempt to blackmail him, and he gave me no money, so in return I was going to kill this motherfucker just to find out he's invincible and that he can't die. The reason he can't die is because it's not written in the game for this planet to become hostile toward you. It's training wheels bullshit. Blow up the ship, fix the drives, they all lead to the same outcome.
I wouldn't say training wheels. There's still a good handful of NPCs you can kill, but not quest related, so I guess maybe. But I don't think you need that in every RPG. I think that's going to get called out for being done way too much. I want to be able to complete the quest, which I'm pretty sure people bitched about it, and that's also the reason Bethesda implemented that. Also because of the Radiant AI, but I don't see that argument applying to Starfield, to be honest.
Even on the ship, you can't just kill all of them.
But I agree. I do wish they allowed you to kill certain NPCs. Either win or either before you start the quest and it changes the way you play the game, or after. Some actual NPCs are killable after, but that's based on your choices, actually.
Because certain NPCs can't die, which is funny because in order to make a decision like blow up the fucking ship, you have to get a key card from one of these assholes. You can't just kill him and take off his fucking corpse. You have to loot him before. Fucking stupid. During the Freestar Galactic plot, we rescued an injured lady, and I felt hateful that day. I was a professional hater. I wanted to be a pirate, so I was gonna smoke this bitch and take her ship. But you can't, because you need her to progress the Freestar Galactic side plot, so she can't die.
You heard, Scallywagger.
Repair my ship.
How do you mean my ship? Game's fucking lazy. In New Vegas, you can be a despicable asshole with no morals if you want to. But in Starfield, no matter what, you are forced to be the good guy, and the moment I noticed this is when I went with...
You're forced to be the good guy. Again, your role-playing really sucks, dude. You just played the good guy. That's all you did. There's plenty of things you could do that can indicate your character's fucking evil. As I mentioned before, the ship with the daughter on it. Even the ship that's floating above Paradiso. Again, there's children on that ship. I think saying Bethesda, like you said earlier, like, oh, they're soft. He implied it. The game's a little darker than you think. Like, come on, dude.
Sam Coe to Aquila City. In Aquila City, a gang is robbing a bank, and they have hostages, and everyone outside has their guns drawn. When this happened, my ears pricked up because it reminded me of the Good Spring Battle in Fallout New Vegas. It was a side mission where you got to make a choice. You could help defend a town from a gang, or you could side with the gang and take over the town. So I took...
Here we go. I'm gonna have to rip New Vegas a new one. That is probably one of the lamest examples, and one of the most overrated quests. It gives you all the dialogue options, but you can't tell fucking Joe Cobb to fuck off. Are you serious? A game's so amped about dialogue, but you can't tell a dude to leave through a speech check? Get out of here.
This interaction really seriously in Starfield, to then be disappointed.
It's kind of funny because either way, the quest ends the same. You shoot up. You're just standing on the opposite side of the fence.
Because there is no choice. You either fight the gang and kill them all, or you persuade them to quit and they go to jail. You can't side with the robbers and fight Aquila City, burning ties with Sam and the Freestar Galactic, because to do so would mean that you would have to kill Sam Coe, who is viable to the Constellation campaign. So instead of ruining the campaign, you have no choice. Starfield lacks nuance.
Thanks to you, Delgado's cut me from the fleet. Well, you know what? You better get your own fleet, because I'm coming after you.
Hold it right there. You owe the fleet a debt.
If you interfere with me getting some sleep again, I'm going to have you killed. You Fine.
Even down to the Constellation crew that is riddled with Gary and Mary Sues that can't be killed. In New Vegas, you could talk to factions you deem villainous like Caesar and learn his mindset and make a choice on who you want to align your game with. Same with other groups, and by exploring nuance, you learn narratives that you might have not seen before. Like, for example, I learned that the good guys like the NCR are just as flawed as the Legion. The ways they want to rule the Mojave are stupid, which is the same ruling style of the government that caused the apocalypse in the first place. And you learn this from Caesar, a guy that a lot of people deem the bad guy. New Vegas is a bunch of finger pointing until you make a decision. You can see Caesar's ruling style is bad or good.
Caesar is literally the bad guy. I don't know why you would say he isn't. It's just a bunch of finger point until you make the decision. The first introduction you get to Caesar's Legion is literally Vulpes and Colta slaughtering innocent people because they deem them as unworthy. Okay. That's not evil, I guess.
Good. You can see Mr. House's beliefs as bad or good.
Like, that does not make them look good. And even their own beliefs, even Caesar is said to be quite manipulative. And as I said in my community post, I believe he has some mental complexities, which I think is the better part, instead of saying, well, you know, like, but I just find it hard to side with the Legion, and I don't think they're good at all. I think the Legion is probably the most evilest faction in any Fallout game, and they're just cartoonishly evil. Like, they rape people. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you really going to sit here and say it's morally gray? It's ridiculous, dude. It's just New Vegas pandering. Holy crap,
have a choice,
man.
and all the NPCs have opinions and morals and political and sociological
Oh,
beliefs
cool.
that vary. In Starfield, the members of Constellation all align with good moral practices under the United Colonies. Even Sam Code, which objectively makes no sense.
What the hell?
Starfield is a lazy museum.
No. Sam Coe fought... I think he... No, he was a Freestar Ranger. I don't think he opens his mouth about UC because he knows that Sarah was a United Colonies soldier. That would start some fucking conflict, dude. Like, it means they're open. And people have different opinions, man. Especially if you go to, like, other... What is it? Faction-based planets, like, fucking... Well, obviously the Crimson Fleet likes no law at all. You know, Freestar collected people don't care for the UC, and some I don't remember if there are some UC citizens that don't care for the way UC goes. I think Sarah actually was one of them, so I don't know, dude. They're just all UC.
So it figures that you learn about the game's lore through literal lazy museums. Makes you miss the old days where you can learn about the history of factions from factions themselves. The lore of Starfield is that there's a big-ass colony war that got resolved and a peace treaty was made that banned mechs and other shit. The United Colonies is pretty fucked when you learn about its history. They're like the Empire from Star Wars that want to control everything. So why the fuck is Sam Coe, the guy who's a part of the people who got screwed by big business, mad when I go against the United Colonies? Same with Andrea, who's a part of House Faroon, that is a religious fanatic group that was once peaceful until it was neglected by the United Colonies. Her boring views on religion and morals just kept making me think of Joshua Graham, who's one of the greatest fictional characters I've ever interacted with. He's so...
I think, if I remember right, when I was traveling with Andrea, she had a lot to say about UC. I don't remember exactly what, but I remember she had some opinions, so...
complex and interesting. He's one of the best interpretations
especially when you're talking to the Council of Governors, so... I don't know.
Reformed Christian, and has made many people who are not religious question where they stand on with their own morals after interacting with him.
I have been baptized twice. Once in
That's really cringe. I really think this whole Joshua Graham thing is either a lie or just some super cringe. I became religious because of Joshua Graham. How cringe is that?
once in flame.
He must be a cool character. He does sound like a badass character, don't get me wrong.
Will carry the fire of the Holy Spirit inside until I stand before my Lord for judgment.
Joshua is a complicated character that steals the room with every quote. Starfield doesn't have any character like this. Vladimir is an ex-Crimson Fleet member, but he's also buddy-buddy with everyone. He's a contradiction to Sarah's beliefs and doesn't have any nuance like he should. He doesn't have regrets, philosophies. He's just boring. A boring good guy. It makes no sense that these people are all happy.
Oh yeah, and also Vladimir's an ex-Crimson Fleet, and he also has opinions on them as well, I believe. I need to talk to him again. It's been a while.
Government bootlickers. Where the fuck is the Hobie Brown-like character that hates the government and is an anarchist? I watch Mr. Robot and Andor. I know how this shit works. I don't give a damn about the United Colonies. Where the fuck is the robot?
I doubt you know how this shit works, dude. You had to bring up other games throughout the entire video to prove your point, whatever that point was.
The only way to get a
and you also said things that you never explained. So no, I don't think you know what's going on, bro.
Member kills by getting close to two of them, and then picking a choice that the game makes for you on who gets to live and die. That's it. You can't start a war with these people, murder these people. They're all just dead on the inside, good guys to assist you on the shitty predetermined roller coaster for a shitty campaign. Okay, so the yapper did a lot of yapping. And to make the whole big chunkus of a timeline into TLDR, when it came to Starfield, I'm just so disappointed. It's actually the same kind of disappointment that I had with Halo Infinite. Bethesda's
I wouldn't say you're disappointed. I think you flat out hated the game.
games had a lot of problems, and they had a lot of time to adapt and change, but they instead chose to play it safe and not put the legwork into being greater or taking a risk.
See, when you say stuff like that, I don't think you were disappointed. I really think you hated the game, and who knows, you probably like it, and you're just jumping on the train for God knows why.
Comfortable with being complacent, and it's most likely never going to change.
Oh, for money.
Keep the same cycle.
Because you have to talk about someone else's product to make your money. Okay.
And then the same cycle with whatever they do after that. Bethesda's games are outdated in every aspect. IGN was fair to not glaze this game. This is not Xbox's saving grace. This is not worth $70. Play it for free if you can, or just don't play it at all and play great games instead, like New Vegas, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom.
You weren't. You just hated the game, and based on what you said earlier about your friends telling you, I really think maybe that was the reason. That doesn't make you look good. It makes you look like you listened to your friends and let them dictate what you liked and didn't. Honestly, that really just makes me not take you seriously at all. I mean, if you're just going to go off of what your friends were saying, that's pretty stupid, man.
Or any of the other great games I've
It was even dumber for you to bring that up, in my opinion.
If you're on the fence, save your money for something like Spider-Man 2.
If it's even true. Like, and if it's not, then why did you even bring it up? Because it just makes you look kind of pathetic that you just let your friends dictate what you like and what you don't. Like, he even said, oh, well, I talked to my friends, and now I don't like now that magic has gone away. He didn't specifically say, but the implications there, if it's even true.
At the end of the month that I'm going to make a video on, so subscribe to watch that. You're not going to want to miss it. This game is mid. This game's a joke. Play it if you want to go broke. Shout out to Mingus Home. Make this video. He's a great bloke. If you want a better theme park ride, play Cyberpunk 2.0 and Phantom Liberty.
No. No. Took him 3 fucking years to make to fix the damn game. You're gonna fucking recommend a game that took 3 years for them to fix? Fuck no. Fuck no. That ain't happening. You know, I don't mind Cyberpunk from what I played, but, I mean, going by their logic, this is idiotic, man. Like, Cyberpunk, if 76 is like Cyberpunk, let's say, and it was, like, well, it was broken upon launch, but let's say Fallout 4 was, you know, since they're both single-player games, then why in the fuck is CD Projekt Red getting a free pass for a massive mistake, possible lies, and because of one update? Cyberpunk sucks. Bro, going by your logic, it's terrible. It shouldn't even be redeemed at all. We gotta give credit where credit's due, yeah. But it took them fucking 3 years, and they had to pull it from other stores. It was that bad. It was that fucking bad. Not really a good video, because I honestly agreed and disagreed mainly. And I just don't care for the other bullshit you were bringing in. And also you didn't elaborate on some of the criticisms you made. Like, oh, well, it's not a good RPG. Well, he kind of did, I guess. He was saying you couldn't kill other NPCs, but apparently that doesn't make it an RPG. Even though in Stalker you could do that same fucking thing. And that's not considered an RPG, so I don't know what to tell you, dude. I don't know what to tell you. It's just the style of RPG, I guess. You know, there are some problems I have with it. I don't like the essential NPCs. I think that is bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I think it's dumb. But for the most part, bro, there's a handful of NPCs you can end up killing. Especially towards the end of particular faction quest lines. There's even NPCs you could throw under the bus. Especially in the fucking, what is it, the Crimson Fleet? Well, yeah, well, that clip you showed of Mathis Castiello, he says he's coming after, he does end up coming after you, and you can kill him then. Like, he actually shows up. Like, when you're just flying around randomly. Like, he showed up for me once, and I was surprised. I was like, holy shit, my choices actually mattered. Because he told me to come after me, and he fucking did. He ended up getting his own crew. Bit of a spoiler, but, you know, whatever. These fucking people, dude, just... Oh, man. Like, I don't get these videos. Like, I don't understand why can't they just judge the game based on its merits instead of spending half a fucking video bringing up shit games I don't care about at the moment because it's not even about those games. I don't care about Red Dead 2 and what that did better than Starfield. I don't care. Dumb, man. Anywho, that was apparently Dr. Skipper's fucking god-awful video. And in my opinion, it was god-awful. You know, and I know not a lot of people enjoy my shit, but that's fine. I don't give a fuck. But this video, man, I don't get this. I don't understand why you would bring up other material that's unrelated and just to point the finger and say, look, these open world games that Bethesda did not develop, these games right here, bro, those ones, they're better. And look at what they did. And then saying, well, Starfield didn't do anything right. It's just disappointing because my friends told me. I talked to them and my friends were saying, and then after I talked to my friends, I just didn't like Starfield anymore. That's kind of what he said. And it's just like, okay, whatever, dude. You know, you could go have your friends dictate what you do and do not enjoy, I guess, because that's what you kind of look like. Anywho, that's me, Sacred G. I just want to know what your guys' thoughts on his video were. If I missed anything, you can feel free to correct me. I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not asking you to do my work for me, obviously. I just want to know if I fucked up. And for future response videos, I'll try to pay more attention. But usually if videos like these, I kind of get drawn out and my brain kind of turns off because a lot of the points in these types of videos where they bring up these nonsensical comparisons to games that don't relate to the game they're talking about just kind of turn me off from the video. And I just don't get it. I don't understand why anyone would bring up games that don't fucking matter to the topic at hand. Like, the video is literally titled Starfield is outdated and overrated. More like over fucking hated. And it's still, I believe, getting hate to this day. So, without further ado, that's me, Sacred G. I'll catch you guys in the next fucking video. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Peace the fuck out, and have a good one. And I'll try to do more response videos, because they are longer, and it's going to be probably a while before I make another video. So hopefully this one kind of fills the gap, if that makes sense. But yeah, again, thank you all for watching, and thank you for recommending me. Actually, I'm going to give you a bit of a shout out, buddy. At the end. Let's see here. Chris McKee, thank you for actually stopping by and telling me my videos are funny. I'm not really trying to be. It's just I'm trying to be entertaining, I guess. I appreciate it. Thank you all very much. And Cheesy McNuggets, thank you very much for being a big supporter. I truly love seeing your comments, honestly. And it is 5 in the fucking morning, so catch you guys in the next video. Peace the fuck out. Have a good one. Goodbye, and enjoy your time in the space lanes. Also in the Starfield. In the cosmos. And I'll enjoy, while you guys are out doing that, I'll enjoy myself at your mom's house.